All right, guys. So Candy Cane is a very vocal cat and constantly meows, much to the chagrin of my sleep. But she's probably gonna constantly interrupt, and it'll just have to be okay because she's a cute butt. She's probably had some sort of trauma, or she's just eccentric. Yep. So she'll probably distract me a little bit. There's not much I can do about it. Um, in the last live stream, and I guess I'll pull this up while I'm talking about it. We had a little mini discussion about agnosticism and atheism, and I've always drummed on about this. I really do not like how agnosticism and atheism are, like, how should I put it? How they're defined by the general populace. It's like, I believe it's a fundamental misunderstanding. Of course, this is just my own view, but I want to kind of go over how I think it should be viewed. And I believe epistemology backs me on this. And I'll explain a little bit in a moment. So there is one issue with this little infographic that I disagree with, and it's the Gnostic and agnostic portions and red text there at the top and bottom of the screen. So I think that it's a mistake to say to gauge Gnostic or agnostic based on possibility. So Gnostic is it is possible to be 100% certain. Agnostic is it is not possible to be 100% certain. I disagree with this labeling. So Gnostic and agnostic is not about whether or not it's possible. So I don't even think we have the answer to that as humans. Like, we don't know whether it's possible or not, uh, because there just isn't enough information. So a more accurate assessment there would be your claim as an individual. If an individual claims that they're 100% certain, they're Gnostic. If they claim that they're not 100% certain, they're agnostic. That is more accurate because it's based on the individual's perception. Yeah. Other than that, I completely agree with this. So, as I've said before, agnostic tends to be used as this like complete middle ground and then like a noun form, like you call someone an agnostic. And I think that's a complete misunderstanding of what it means. Uh, to claim someone as agnostic in common parlance is to say that they're completely neutral. They just don't know, which is honest. To be honest, in my view, that's everyone on the planet, which means you're not providing any sort of information. You're it's useless. It's complete trash. Like, who cares? Like, you're not answering anything. So I tend to focus more on the belief aspect, and that is theist and atheist. And I believe that the best way to use agnostic, if you're going to use it at all, is in adjective form, which is the case here in this infographic. You use it as like an add-on to atheist or theist, which is the noun, which provides far more meaning. It's kind of, as I said, useless on its own. I think that it tends to be people that are running away from the stigma associated with atheism, but not always. So I guess let's go over this first. A Gnostic theist is 100% certain there is a god or gods. A Gnostic atheist is 100% certain there is no god or gods. An agnostic theist believes in a god or gods but doesn't claim to know with 100% certainty. An agnostic atheist lacks belief in a god or gods but doesn't claim to know with 100% certainty. So this is what I meant when I said that I'm like a vast majority of all people who claim to be agnostic are actually atheists. And this is what I mean when I say that. So as long as the person who claims to be agnostic lacks a belief in a god or gods, they are an atheist, whether they like that title or not. That's the definition. So many people make the mistake of thinking that atheist means that you're like anti-theism. Now, in before theist, the prefix epistemologic, I can't say it, epistemologically, I guess, um, does not mean the opposite of or anti or anything like that. So people make this mistake and think that an atheist is making a direct claim or has to be making a direct claim that there is no God. And that's not true. It's the prefix literally means lacking or the absence of. You can see this in other words like amorality. Amorality is not immorality. It's lacking morality. So it's neutral. It's simply lack of belief. Like that should make it clear. So atheist is not just 100%. There are atheists who make a claim that they're 100% sure that there is no God or gods, although I claim that that's retarded, because if there is no God or gods, you can't be certain of it. Just you can't be certain that there aren't fairies, that we just haven't, like they're invisible or they go out of their way to make sure that they're not seen or whatever. Obviously, I don't believe in fairies, but like this applies to anything that can't be disproven directly. So you can make a case that we can disprove specific God or gods based on their like religious text, and religious text shows that it can't be true, which means that specific God or god either you could say doesn't exist or the text itself is faulty or whatever. But in any case, that's beside the point. So this is what I meant when I made the claim. And of course, there's always pushback because people just don't understand. At least that's my view. I mean, you can feel free to push back as much as you want. But it was brought up that you can believe something and it not be true, and that's absolutely true. And I believe I addressed it fairly well. I could have done better. But that's why I said that I had a problem with the labeling here, because we can't gauge possibility in terms of God or gods with 100% certainty. So it's just intellectually dishonest to even use that in the first place. So it's about what the individual claims, regardless of whether they're right or wrong. And by the way, I tend to, and I know some people don't like this, I don't take people seriously who are Gnostic, period. Gnostic theist, Gnostic atheist. If you claim that you're absolutely 100% without a doubt certain on either of these, then I don't take you very seriously. I think that it's more than likely that you are indoctrinated, or you're just so ideologically locked into your view that you've come to your beliefs through confirmation bias, because it's just illogical. It doesn't make any sense, which means all sane and honest people are agnostic, which means it's completely useless to use the term agnostic. It means nothing. That's everyone. So if you claim to be agnostic, if you even have a slight, like, no, that's a bad way of explaining it. If you lack belief in a god or gods, so you can, this one is sort of mutually exclusive. So you can either believe or lack belief. Lacking belief does not mean that you're claiming there is no God or gods. You can't be anything else. That's all there is. So if you don't know, you're an agnostic atheist. Unless you claim you don't know, but you believe it's likely, or you're at least on a spectrum, you're leaning toward belief in a God or gods. So, yeah, I hope that clears things up. It's really not that complicated, but I think a lot of it has to do with society and how they use the terms. And a lot of that has to do with stigma, as I already brought up. But hopefully this kind of makes it a little bit easier to understand, because I get into this a lot and it's always very difficult for me to reach people. Like, I don't understand precisely what the hang up is. Maybe it's like I said, it's just because people misuse it so often. They're like, no, that's not what it means. And I don't know. But yeah, thank you for your time. Raoul.